Okay, it's 12:01. I'm gonna get going. Usually people seem to pop in later and later these days. So, quick reminder, what are we doing here? We're just gonna spend the next 14 or so minutes working, sort of activating certain neural networks that have been shown that if we stimulate them over and over again, they result in what we would call sustainable well-being, right? Um, Most of us, I think, want to have a day-to-day experience that feels positive, meaning filled with gratitude, with love, with the ability to focus our attention on something. Today, we're going to talk about resilience, which I'll explain in a second. Is multifaceted, but it's a pretty important skill to curate or cultivate over time. So let's kick it off with one of my favorite human beings, Nelson Mandela. Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. So this, in many ways, is a more eloquent or poetic way of focusing on this concept of resilience. And so, just like this gnarly tree here, way up high in the Sierras, I'm always amazed whenever I end up there as to how it is possible that certain plants survive in this rocky, seemingly arid and really harsh environment, and yet life wants to happen. I think that applies to all of us. So the definition of resilience here is the ability to adapt and recover in the face of adversity, threats, or significant sources of stress. And the truth is, we experience this all day long. And a lot of the times, we just get jerked around by it, right? It feels very much like we're just marionettes. We got these invisible strings and they're just yanking us around. One minute you think you're about to focus on this task, and before you know it, something stressful or a quote unquote problem has presented itself, and now here we are grappling with how to figure it out, and it's not necessarily a pleasant experience, right? It can feel like it's filled with anxiety and fear. And so the question is, what do we do about it? Is there a way that we can engage with the day-to-day stresses of life in a way that where we just feel a little more skilled and resilient? Um, so there are different types of resilience, right? There's psychological resilience when I have certain thoughts or beliefs bounce through my brain and they feel stressful. What do I do with them? So beliefs about other people, they should, they shouldn't, can't believe they did this, or that guy is acting recklessly, just cut me off in traffic, right? This just stimulates what we would call psychological stress. And the answer is, how do we become more psychologically resilient? Same with our emotions. I now feel in my body lots and lots of different emotions. Some of them are suggesting that I do something about the situation. And the question is that stressful, or is it, or could it just kind of be mechanical? Can I just say, okay, this doesn't feel good. Here's what I'm going to do. Off we go. Physical. So this is the sensory aspect of stress. We feel it in our body, very typical with the anxiety and depression. And again, really, really unnerving. And so the question is, okay, so how do I build more resilience in my physical domain? And then certainly social and relational, right? I'm an introvert. I very naturally reach the saturation point when I'm around other people. It's not that I don't like other people. It's just that there's literally an effect that I feel in my body at some point where I say, I just need to check out. I just can't handle any more small talk or any more interactions, and I need to recharge elsewhere. So yeah, there's probably another 10 types of resilience that we could be focusing on, but these are the ones that I'm going to focus on today. Yeah, and so in order to get to a place where we're all bouncing back and forth and happy, um, let me just cover these three elements, these three skill sets uh, of resilience. Um, One of them is grit. So you look at this guy's hands, and he's unlikely to get paper cuts or injure himself if he's trying to tease apart some kind of a stapled stack of papers. Why? Because he has grit. He's got calluses on his hands. So um, another one is this ability to reframe any situation that we're in. So this is like the cognitive reframe, where we can say, okay, this happened, but I'm going to choose to focus on some other aspects of the situation and not just let my default mode of interpretation sort of run away with me. Um, so let's go ahead and practice this. So let's close our eyes and start off just by dropping into the here and now. I'm in clinic right now. I'm sitting in a room. I have a big recliner. I'm noticing my body in full contact with this recliner. So I'm just bringing my attention to what's it like to be sitting, or if you're standing or laying in bed. Just notice what it's like to be in contact with the parts of your body that are being pulled down by gravity. I'm noticing feet, the backs of my legs, pelvis, lower back, my neck, and my head. And the goal here is just to orient to this present moment, right here, right now. Noticing the body breathing. We're not trying to change anything, we're just noticing. Now I want you to bring to mind a stressful situation. Maybe on a scale from 1 to 10, choose something that's in that 5 or 6 range. So not the most traumatic, stressful experience you've ever had, but just a situation that just didn't feel good. An interaction with another person, or a situation that you were somehow grappling with, and it just left you feeling maybe frustrated, anxious, upset, just didn't feel good. And bring this to mind. I want you to be an outside observer, just looking in from the outside, watching yourself stumble through the situation, noticing what other people were saying or doing, or where you were. And just kind of take stock of the factual aspects of this situation. Now I want you to notice how you're reacting to this situation. What's it like to be you in this situation where you're feeling frustrated or anxious because of what's being said, because of how things are going down? To some extent, notice the price that you're paying for your reactivity in that moment. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I just want you to notice what it's like to react to this situation. Because now we're going to move and lean into what it's like, what it would be like to respond to the situation. The response is all about choice and a sense of agency. So you're in exactly the same situation, but you're now looking at it through the lens of hindsight. You have the benefit of sort of 2020 hindsight. Now you're going to ask yourself the question, what would it be like if I had more bounce in this situation? So yeah, things didn't go my way. Let's say I had the ability to just bounce back quickly, in the moment. I'll take the first hit, the first slight, the first experience of upset. And now I'm finding an ability to just bounce back. Now I'm also going to layer in some grit. What would it be like to experience more grit while I'm in this stressful situation? Meaning I have a thicker skin, a little bit more resilient or impervious to being hurt. And then last but not least, layer in this cognitive reframe. So that's the third part of the resilience practice. Is imagine yourself getting curious, like you're in a good place. You're bouncing back, you're feeling a little grittier. Now imagine looking at this person or this situation through the lens of curiosity and creativity. What if everything isn't happening because of the reasons you thought it was happening? That person maybe isn't a jerk. Maybe they're scared. The person isn't selfish or a narcissist. Maybe that person is just really struggling with something scary and needs to trying to take care of themselves. That's the cognitive reframes, just looking for other possible explanations for what's happening in this situation. And all of this amounts to greater resilience. So noticing yourself being able to bounce back, take the initial hit of frustration or fear, whatever it might be, and but you bounce back to a place where you feel more stable, more resilient, grittier. You're a little thicker skinned, and their words, their actions can't penetrate you as much. And then you're adding in this third layer of curiosity and the cognitive reframe, saying, what if there's a different explanation other than that they're a bad person or that they're fill in the blank? I'll suggest that with resilience comes freedom, agency, purpose. And this is a skill that we can curate and cultivate over time. We keep practicing and doing these kinds of exercises. Keep in mind, it's only been about 9 minutes. And take a deep breath in. Exhale all the way. And then hold your exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale and open your eyes. Just come on back to the room. So yeah, I hope that the takeaway message here is cultivating our capacity for resilience, be it psychological, um, social, relational, physical, whatever it might be, is a really good, useful thing to curate. So hope that was helpful. I'll be here tomorrow at noon and hope to see as many of you as possible. So I'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone Awesome. Connect. Take care.